Standard theological readings traditionally define fire as a terminal state, a final destination of punishment, total, irreversible annihilation. The dual caustic universe framework defines fire as a thermodynamic caustic. This phase space graph identifies a caustic singularity, a coordinate where external pressure, systemic noise, and environmental disturbance collapse into a state of critical density. This compression represents the L state. It is the peak pressure a system can endure before structural failure. At the apex of this compression sits the B operator. This buffer acts as an inflection switch, preventing structural collapse at maximum density. When pressure hits this buffer, the system transitions into the S state. Chaotic energy resolves into ordered, stable sine waves, a state of equilibrium. In physics, this is a quantum decoherence event. Chaotic noise is forced to resolve into a stable reality. Fire serves a strictly mechanical function. It is an extraction mechanism that compresses a system until it is forced into a phase transition. Ibrahim's presence in the furnace, described in verse 2168, provides a macro-scale test for this framework. This initiates the compression phase. A localized environment applies total external field pressure against a single human node. Systemic disturbance, what the text calls fitna, infiltrates the signal. This pushes the field toward the state of critical density, known as haraj. As the system reaches the apex of this compression curve, thermodynamics dictates a terminal explosion. The system reaches verse 2169, O fire, be coolness and peace. This is the activation of the beta operator override. This command executes with the mathematical precision of verse 3682. It halts compression by inverting the thermodynamic vector. The system enters the balance phase. The fire remains, but its phase output has transitioned from destructive pressure to thermal equilibrium. Verse 3923 corroborates this relaxation mechanism. Skin shivering under pressure mirrors a system yielding to a state of release. Ibrahim's pre-fire data profile reflects the L state. His actions are kinetic and confrontational, typified by the physical destruction of societal idols. After passing through the fire, his data profile shifts. He moves into the S state, characterized by patient, soft dialogue. The human node did not change his core identity. His operational phase was shifted by passing through the B boundary. Ibrahim exiting the fire unharmed proves the mechanics of the system. Infinite pressure is resolved through phase inversion, avoiding structural collapse. This equation is scale invariant. It governs physical plasma and immaterial forces with equal precision. Consider Lut in verse 2933. He is trapped by societal hostility and severe psychological despair. While the inputs differ, the curves are identical. Lut's distress generates a micro-compression field that reaches critical density. Even without physical flames, the system is at the thermodynamic caustic singularity. At the peak of this compression, the beta operator override is delivered. Have no fear and do not grieve. This command triggers the phase inversion, bypassing the expected breakdown of the human node. Lut enters the S state, enabling a calculated extraction from a collapsing societal system. One node walks out of a furnace, another walks out of a doomed city. Both utilize the same extraction physics. The DCU inflection point is a universal constant. When a submitted node reaches total compression, the system inverts the pressure into a pathway for extraction. What specific architecture governs this phase shift and enforces the boundary between the L and S fields? Verse 7430 states, Overit are 19. These 19 represent the strict mathematical operators of the boundary interface. These operators function as logic gates at the Razin boundary, processing critical density in real time. As detailed in verse 7431, unaligned data packets, systemic noise, fail the operator logic. They are deflected outward and trapped in a loop of continuous combustion. This unaligned data is returned to the L loop, experiencing increasing doubt and thermodynamic punishment. Conversely, aligned data packets from a submitted node fulfill the criteria of the gates. The 19 nodes allow the data to pass into the stable, protected interior. For the aligned node, the output is pure certainty, stabilization into the S state. The 19 operators serve as an algorithmic filter. They ensure entropy is combusted while ordered information is extracted and preserved. This engine runs continuously across all dimensions of reality. Verse 21:104 describes system closure, where the universe folds back upon itself like a massive looping Mobius strip. The physics of this system, as established in verse 30:30, are fixed and unalterable. Human agency does not lie in changing the parameters of the fire, but in achieving the orientation required to trigger the beta operator. Survival in the dual caustic universe requires surrendering to the geometry of the system so perfectly that the fire has no choice but to cool.